Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside Leather History, a Fireside Chat. I'm Doug O'Keefe, the host and producer of the chats that are a program of the Leather Archives and Museum. Today, I've got Miss Anne in Los Angeles as my guest. Miss Anne is a pony. She's a pony trainer and a pony play enthusiast. This is a totally new topic for me, and I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Let's start right at the very beginning. Tell us a little bit about where you're from, a little bit about your family.
Okay, so I grew up in the Bay Area, which is like growing up in your own country, within a country, which I didn't learn until I left the Bay Area and went off to college. So I grew up during the 50s and 60s and 70s in the Bay Area in San Francisco.
That was a very interesting time. There was a lot going on then.
Absolutely, but I was very focused on being a musician. And so there was a lot that sort of, but it was a very wonderful time to grow up. People were questioning everything and who you are. So it was a great time to be a woman and explore your womanhood and feel independent and strong.
How did you do that?
I focused on being a musician and a composer and doing the best I could in my high school so I could get a scholarship to college. That's what I did.
Were you aware of a lot of the counterculture going on in the Bay Area?
Yes, I'm one of the few people who can tell you that I went to a Mooney retreat for a weekend and said, no, this is not for me, mainly because I didn't want to go because I had to practice for a recital and they promised me that I could practice. And in the middle of the field with nothing around me where I was practicing, they told me that I couldn't. And I was like, excuse me, you're telling me about this, enlightenment and way to be and keeping your word, and you promised me, and now you're breaking your promise. I'm out of here.
Wow.
I know. So yeah, that's how that went.
Well, tell us about your schooling. It was very interesting.
I loved, so I went to the University of Redlands. And I had a double major in flute performance and art composition. And I stayed most of my time at it was an independent Johnston college. It was lovely. It wasn't your normal dorm experience. And then I graduated and I went to Mills College. And I again got my master's it was a double major in music composition and flute performance.
That's very fascinating. It's very accomplished.
Well, I was a very focused person. The first part of my 26 years of life was very planned, very much manifested. I had a to-do list of things I wanted to do. Once I got my degree, I went to Los Angeles to be with the Independent Composers Association and do new music concerts. And I played, as a flautist. I also got great experience because I played saxophone, playing in rock bands. So I got to play in the clubs in rock bands. That was cool. And I quickly learned that the things that made money, I didn't want to do. And the things that I really loved to do made no money at all. So that was an education.
Well, tell us a little bit more about the music scene in which you were working in Los Angeles.
There was, so in composition, it was great because we put on our own little, concerts and like that. I'm published in Soundings in Peter Garland's Soundings, Volume 10.
Wow.
And I know. And I played, the background music to like cartoons.
Oh, wow.
You listen to the flute part, that's what you do. So just miscellaneous things. And I was a manuscript copyist. And so the manuscript copying actually like got me off into doing graphic artwork.
Oh.
And then that hooked me up into, different things. And I just sort of like glided for a little bit after that. I got married, I had children, and then I was often running in a totally different direction. So my music career ended. I was married and that wasn't working out. And I was like, what do I know how to do? And it was, I decided I knew how to party. So,
Okay.
and I had children. And I noticed that there wasn't a turnkey operation, like you had to go somewhere for tables, somewhere for cake, you could get a clown. You couldn't get someone to do a children's party that was willing to be responsible for the whole thing. And certainly not an old-fashioned one where you did crafts and the kids played together and the birthday child was the center of attention. So that's what I did for 18 years.
Well, tell us a little bit more about that. How did all of that work out for you? How did it happen?
I loved it. I loved doing children's parties. My business was basically built on the key foundation ideas of keeping your promises and being on time. And that worked out for me. I got to do parties for the Gersh agency, the Morris agency, really well-known people and everyday people. I always kept a basic price for someone who could just have a nice party. And children, no matter who they are, they're just delightful. They're wonderful. It's their special day. And I loved it. I've loved all of my life. I have to tell you, at every, different point and different career change that I did, I have loved my life. Absolutely. It was great. It's still creative. I think all of the things that I've done they involve being and creating and using that muscle. Creating is creating, whether you're manifesting something to create music or you're manifesting having a great time and ambience, doing, children's games and like that. So yeah, no, it's been great.
But to achieve the level of success that you did with those parties had to have taken a lot of work. How did you reach that level of success?
Just constantly getting up every day and keeping my word. In Los Angeles, this seems to be novel. So, it worked out. I would also like to thank people who gave me referrals. I didn't work for someone else and then take their Rolodex. I just started with an ad and doing it. Also, my daughter was going to the Pacific Palisades Montessori School. So I started with a nice base of parents that I knew that gave me the opportunity to start, and just on referral of the parties being good. That's how it worked out. Yeah.
Well, when we were preparing for this chat, you mentioned EST by Werner Erhard, and that played a pivotal role for you. Tell us about that. First, let me explain what it is.
So the S training, which became the landmark educational program, something like that. Yeah, I had someone way back when I was a musician. When I was a musician, I had a part-time job at Harry's Barbecue Pit on Crescent Heights and Sunset. And there was a gentleman who came in, and he always had the same sandwich. And he asked me if I would go to a seminar, and I did. And I took the S training. And not only did I take the S training, but I ended up working for Warner Earhart. I was in charge of the records for Los Angeles, and I did the communication workshop.
Wow.
And so, yeah, within a year, I started the Los Angeles Center had the worst records of, I think it was 26 centers over the globe. And within a year, we were #1.
My gosh, how did you achieve that?
Hard work, a lot of volunteers that were really, really dedicated. And yeah, you always have to have a good team. You have to have people around you that are incredible. You can't be afraid of being outshined. You want people who are very, very shiny all around you that support you and are aligned with your goal, and you all do it. It's never just one person. It's a team effort. And I would say all of my achievements in actually accomplishing all the things about them. Yes, I have the idea. Yes, I have the vision, but I have a team. I have an army of people
Wow.
behind me that have supported me. I'd be nothing without all these people. So, but I will say, of all the things that I've done in my life, that doing this training, which ultimately is about that this is it. You create your life. There's only this life, so do it. And it made a vast difference to me. Not that I haven't had dark times in my life. I have had dark times in my life, but it gives me a way to I guess lift myself up by the bootstraps.
Wow.
And seek assistance when I need assistance, and brush yourself off and recommit and make your promises and do it again. And so yeah, so it made a great difference. Yes.
That's a very strong statement. I hope it resonates with anyone who may be watching this.
I don't even know if you can take it anymore. I don't even know if the program exists, but I will say that everyone that I have known that also took it, it's just made an incredible difference.
My gosh, that's amazing. Truly. But when you say work hard, keep your promises, move forward, you certainly did, because
Yes.
you went into an amazing line of work following your parties, and that was the porn industry. So,
I know.
I mean, you go from one extreme to the other. I find that completely amazing and fascinating. Tell us about that.
Well, I guess life is about balance, right? So 18 years of, 250 to 2,000 kids a week.
Oh, God.
And then I was done. And you should never play with children if you don't want to play with children. Children you need to be authentic and you need to want to be there, truly, truly. And so I just closed it down and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So there was just a period of that where I just sort of waited for the next thing. And then you can't get a job because you've owned your own business and everyone thinks that you're going to take their business if you work for them.
Yeah.
I lied. I told art theater that I was divorced and had no experience, just to get a $10 an hour job selling candy at the art theater, just to have something to do while I was trying to figure out what to do. But I tell you, if you do that and they call you in to scrape gum off the floor for $10 an hour, as opposed to you have a friend who goes, and what you should do is you should do MILF porn. Just try it out. Give it a go. And so you give that a go, and here you are, set up to do a porn, and they exchange your health things, that they're totally healthy. I was 50 years old. They were 18 to 25 with rippling muscles, or it was a chick, a beautiful young woman. And instead you get anywhere, depending on the sex act, it's played by the sex act, not by the amount of time you spend. Okay. $500 to $2,500, as opposed to $50 for 5 hours of scraping gum off the floor of a theater. Yes. So just in the way of doing a job, which is the better job, the one that pays more.
Well,
right?
Would you please explain MILF porn, though, to somebody who may not have any idea?
Oh, so that had to be explained to me also. MILF porn is, I think it actually stands for Mothers I Love to Fuck. And it's about a mature woman with a young man, which is a thing. There's a lot of young men who just adore older, mature women, being with them. It's a thing. Like some people are into feet, some people are into mature women, and it's great. It's what makes the world go round.
So tell me a little bit about the work you did there. It was very successful.
Oh, well, my handle is Robin Pacino, and you can still look me up. And I just had a great time. During that time, I was with a BDSM partner that was not into me physically. He liked playing with me. He liked younger women. And so basically going off and doing porn, that was sort of my sex life. So when I showed up, and I look like I'm lusty and really wanting to have sex, I really truly am lusty and really wanting. I was not a great actress. I was just authentically me, horny and wanting to fuck this guy. And having the experience of doing music where you're like playing in an orchestra and you're concentrating on your part while there's all these things and people playing all around you. That was basically how I contextualized like being with a person, and there's cameras and it's funny because when you do sex in porn, the positions are not like regular sex just by yourself, because there's a camera up in there,
Yes.
you're shooting at angles, and there's cameras here and cameras over here, like all around. But it was fun. It was like really great. And the young men were so wonderful. They were just, I just had the best experiences. It was great.
There are so many people, I think, that would love to be able to break into the porn industry the way you did. How do you think you managed to do that?
I just simply opened up Craigslist and answered an ad, and quick-a-dink enough, the person that I wrote to, there was this great conversation on the phone where he was like, because I sent some photos because I went to the goth bars, and so there were some fetish photographers who had taken some pictures of me, so I had those. So I sent them. And so Matt Matthews was looking at them. He's talking on the phone. He goes, yeah, these look, like really good, but I can't promise that you'll be, a star, that it'll work out. So do you have a job? And I remember I was there, like not working. I couldn't think of what to do. So I sort of went, oh, well, I'm a clown. And all of a sudden on the phone, I hear, oh my God, I know who you are. And I wanted to like just die, die through the phone. And as it turned out, Matt Matthews was a handle, but he was one of the bartenders that I used to hire when I did children's parties and I needed a bartender for the party, or I did adult parties. So I had already known him under a different name for, probably 12 years at least.
What a small world.
I know, but this is my life. This is how things work out for me. I am very, very blessed. I've had a very blessed. So my manager for my porn career was someone I already had a relationship with. He knew that he could send me to a job. I'd be on time. I would do the deed. And, and so that was also really great for me.
Well, tell us a little bit about some of the misconceptions that people have about porn stars and the porno industry.
Misconceptions.
Things that people get wrong, things they don't understand.
Oh, well, I think it just depends on the person that you're doing or talking to. I had a great time. I found it to be a great job. I was not one that fiddled around. Like I said, you did not get paid by the hour, you got paid by the deed. Yeah. So I was there on time, got on my makeup, boom, 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 boom. Always wanted to make sure that my partner felt that, the sun rose in his eyes. He was everything, and totally have him zoomed up to do a great job and like that. It's a job. It's fun. It's not I don't know. I guess it just depends on the person. If you take it as being a great job and you don't spend all your porn money on a $3,000 purse, there's a lot of porn girls who've become nurses and doctors, and it is a way that they've done their done great things with that money. So yeah, no, it's a career.
Yeah,
it's a great way to make money. I don't know that you can anymore, because oh gosh, I guess it was about 2008, 2009, the whole internet sort of turned on itself, and piracy. So all of the little mom and pop places closed down, because they would do a video and it would be taken and it would be loaded up to sites such as the type of site as Pornhub and other sites like that. And so there wasn't any money. They couldn't make their money, in doing it. I think that clips for sale is still a good way to go. OnlyFans is still a good way to go, but you have a lot of people doing their own material. If you have a photographer and you can just make your own material, because in terms of like turning out the videos like we did, like a production company, I just got paid as an actress. I don't get royalties on my work.
Okay.
There's I got paid, bam and done. So the production company that made that film, they basically just take the content and match it up with different content, put it in another box and sell it to you again and sell it to you again. They try to make as much money off their content as possible.
Of course. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But it was great while it lasted. And then I sort of moved on. I was either at that time, I was either making a porn or I was webcamming.
Ah.
And so I got regulars webcamming, as you do. If you enjoy what you do and you're good at what you do and you log in at a regular time, you get regulars. And those regulars, after 3 years, were going, and I'm going to Vegas. You know, would you consider meeting me in Vegas? You know, I'll pay you X amount of money. You know, fly there. And I was like, you know, it was somebody that I had talked to for 3 years.
Yeah.
Every week. You know, so yeah, you know, I met them, or I, you know, usually was going to Vegas. That seemed to be like the thing. But one of those gents told me that there was a site called eros.com, and that they, at that time, it was mostly dominatrixes that were in the BDSM section. There was one other submissive in New York, and that was it. But it's opened up more. Now you can find switches, submissives, men, women, in all the parts. Eros has lots of categories, and it's been good for me.
Well, tell us about your experience with BDSM. How did you get involved with that?
Well, it was after I was divorced. There was a gentleman that introduced me to it, and that lasted for a little bit. I wouldn't say that he gave me words, certainly didn't introduce me to the community, but that would be like my first introduction, which I really, really liked. And I think I sort of hung on to that relationship maybe a little longer than I should have, because I enjoyed the play. And I thought he would be the only person in the world that would do this with me. And how could I ever go back after I had done this? Because I didn't know anyone else in the whole world that did these things. You know, that would tie me up and I would do this kind of play, or wax play, or, you know, anal play, or whatever kind of play. I love being tied up. And so then there was 2 years of just being on my own. But I was a single mom. I was, you know, doing children's parties. I had things to keep me grounded. But then I found someone else that I was dating that actually introduced me to the community.
Okay.
And at Club Noir, I was taken there. Basically, I was on a date having sushi with someone, and he did neon signs. And he took me to the club to check out a client. So there I was, you know, my first introduction. And I have a lot of Matts in my life, by the way. So Matt was asking me, what do you think? And I'm there having my martini, and I'm like, these people have seen Clockwork Orange one too many times. Then all of a sudden, it's like, you know, the Red Sea parted, and this tall gentleman with flowing red hair came through the crowd and opened up the curtain on the stage. And all of a sudden there was a St. Andrew's cross, and women were lining up, and he was flogging them and spanking them. And I'm standing there with my martini going, oh my God, these are my people.
Wow.
So
wow.
that was how I found the BDSM community. And that was, you know, so I would go and I would just watch until that gentleman asked me one time if there was something missing in my life. And so then I started exploring. And of course, there were other clubs, and it was something I did very privately. And I just really, really loved it. I spent 25 years exploring my submissive side.
Wow.
And I would say the last 7 years, basically, there was a submissive man who just begged me for years to do the dominant role with him. So I got into, I would call it service topping. I think it's different if you go to someone and you submit to them, submit to their wishes, obey them, do what they want, right? But there's this other thing, especially in the professional category of BDSM, where you'll have submissive men who have a specific list of play that they want to do, and they want it done this way, and then they want this, and then they want that, and be sure and do this. So I would call it topping from the bottom.
Yes.
But they want to play the bottom role, right? So I call it service topping. I'm still being of service. I'm still doing it exactly the way they asked for it. But, but there's a little leeway too. I love pushing people just a little bit. I get a whole lot of first timers, curious people who, they don't want I guess they're afraid of going in and getting beaten up. I keep telling them that it's not abuse, it's consensual. You never do anything that you don't consent to do.
Right.
And you read out. Yeah, I guess that's the other thing is for me, I really don't do a lot of fast pickup play myself being a bottom. I always watched the person play with other people, watched how they interacted afterwards. It says a lot about a person.
Yes.
And so, and when I interact with people, for me, it's the whole game. Like when and moving on to training ponies, it's not just training ponies to move or that. My own ponies, my collared ponies, I'm very much in there asking them about their health, about their well-being, about their job, about their everything. I want everything in their life to be magnificent, not just when they're a pony that they obey me.
Let's explore that a little bit more, because you're very well known for pony play, and that's why we were introduced for this interview. So would you please explain pony play for someone who may be watching this video and doesn't know about it?
Okay. So pony play is this little tiny thing that in the big world of BDSM, there is this thing called pony play. You can read about it in erotic literature, like The Training of Beauty by Anne Rice. And basically, pony play is anytime a human is emulating a pony. So children do this all the time. It's a very, innocent play. Some kid is the pony and someone else, like even when I visited my grandchildren, my daughter Claire would be, Grandma, won't you be my pony? And she would wrap her jump rope around my waist and, get up and go, and I would go pony. So that's still pony play. That's a very relaxed, childlike, introduction to it. But most pony players, most people who are really into it, that would be some moment like that is how we started. We did it as kids. Certainly you've all done the canter. Everybody does that.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, that's basically it. And then you build on that. And people come to pony play from many different aspects of it. Some people just really like all of the gear, all of the bondage, all of the tack that is put on horses is created to restrain them and communicate with them. And it's intensive because they're a huge, powerful flight animal that we are controlling. And so there's a whole lot of people who all they do is put on all of this gear and stand in the mirror. And that's it for them. They just like the bondage of it.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that are cart ponies. So you get a cart and you pull it around and you take people for rides. And it's very, very fun. I love doing that. I used to, so Rebecca Wilcox was the person who was my trainer. And I would take her to national parks and we would go down the trails, and we even have little YouTube videos where people took video of us while we were there. I had a great time. I love being a pony, absolutely. And she introduced me, we worked out dressage. And so there was that part. And then Rebecca left for Sweden. And so I needed to find friends who wanted to do what I did. And in order to share pony play, I needed to teach myself how to rein and how to share that knowledge. And the Los Angeles Pony and Critter Club was born out of that in 2009. And it's just built on itself and continued.
Well, when we were preparing for this interview, you told me a couple of things that I find really fascinating. One of them is that you said you moved from being a model pony to a lifestyle pony, and that there's no one correct way to be a pony or to teach pony play. Please explain some of those for us.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to do a photo shoot for Ken Marcus, and I was to be a pony, and I had to investigate that. So he had some magazines, Equus Eroticus, that I read, and there would be pictures in it of beautiful women in beautiful costumes that Ken had taken pictures of. But there were other ponies in this magazine also. And I found something different, some aspect about them that just seemed, I don't know, to call me off the page. And the more that I investigated pony play and the different things that I would need, I ended up going. That's when I drove from LA to San Francisco to the Stampede Munch, where I met Rebecca. So it's not just putting on the gear and that makes you a pony. I mean, that is pony play. You're pretending to be a pony. It's all good. But there are different, I guess, levels of being a pony, where it's something that you just really, really enjoy. You really like it. It calls to you. You can, there's people who fall into a mind space of being a pony. They can, there's some ponies I know that when they become a pony, like they don't remember it. Like they're gone. They've gone to a different dimension of cognizance, I guess, you know, like they're their pony. And it takes them a while to come out of that, and then they return to being human. And usually they're really sad to go back. So there's a lot of aftercare sometimes in pony play. But, and then there's other people who always maintain their humanness, that they'll have a top, a trainer, a dom who will dress them as a pony and make them carry them or make them move as a pony as a form of humiliation. And so this is a different way of approaching it, that maintaining being a human the entire time, as opposed to when you're a pony that has a pony spirit, a pony heart, you're never embarrassed about being a pony.
Right.
There's no humiliation involved, you know? And so, yeah. So there's just different ways to do it. And it's all good. I would say though, that it's not just, you know, putting on the attire for once. Although I must say, when I've had people like looking and watching, there's nothing like putting on that, those harnesses and the head harness and the tail, and really bringing out that all of a sudden they're like, yeah, oh, I really like this. It's something that once people put on, it clicks for them. Sometimes when people hear about pony play or they see different images, they don't get why somebody would do that. But when you do participate in it, there's an immense amount of fun. There's an immense amount of being able to do something that feeds your spirit, feeds that that part of you that needs to renew and just have energy fed back into it, instead of having your energy drained out as a human, having to deal with your responsibilities and bills and, you know, all the difficulties.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And as I listen to you now, and I hear you mention headspace and various energies that people employ in this, I can't help but compare it, or at least see the similarity with puppy play.
Yes.
So do you feel that that is something similar?
Yes, absolutely. It's a different animal, you know, and you're doing different things. But certainly there are pups who also, to the same degree, pups can still pull sleds. You could be a sled dog.
Yes.
You know, I have a sled. I've had pups pull it, you know, and it's animal role play. You know, basically that people have animal totems, but this goes back like for forever. Way back in the beginning of human civilization, we did tribal dances where we would make masks, put them on, you know, do our tribal primal dance of, you know, appealing to the gods for good hunts and whatever. You know, it's been around for forever. People have always emulated animals. I haven't seen any animals emulate humans, but you know, I certainly have seen a lot of really wonderful trained animals, though. They're quite, you know, there's nothing like a good dog or a good pet. There's just that complete love that they have.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful.
What's your pony name?
My pony name is Beauty, and Rebecca Wilcox gave me my pony name. And it was because she felt that I was a beautiful spirit inside. Isn't that nice?
It is. It's beautiful. I love the significance of it.
Yes.
It carries a lot more for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've always loved it. I've always felt very blessed that I have this wonderful relationship with Rebecca. And it's continued, and she's just a wonderful person She's very knowledgeable also in pony play. I just love her to pieces.
But earlier, just a few minutes ago, you mentioned dressage. Would you please explain that? What does that mean with pony play?
Well, horses, equines, they have natural gaits. So they walk, trot, canter. They will go backwards when they have to. And they gallop. Those are natural gaits. And in humans' relationship with domesticated horses, we taught them different gaits. We taught them to do high step and prance and Spanish walk, all these different, they're about form.
Okay. Okay.
So they're not so much about getting from place A to place B. They're about, it's almost like a ballet movement. It's that kind of thing where it's about the form of it, about achieving an artistic movement. And so we have many things that we do with equines, freestyle dressage, like this is a thing in the equine world where people train their horses and compete and they do these beautiful things. And there was evidently someone who's like, well, if I'm going to be a pony and I want to do an artistic thing, I could do dressage. I love doing dressage. For me, doing freestyle dressage with my ponies, it's like performance art.
Okay.
And that sort of like winds you back up to my music career, doing performance art, where all of a sudden you're mixing together some music and you're choreographing this. And it's even more than that, though, because there's a relationship between the trainer and the pony and how they're moving. And it's just a beautiful artistic expression, and it does so much for me. I just love it. Yeah, I cream my panties, you know. It's all good for me.
Quite a compliment to that, I think. Yes. Yes. But tell us about the LA Pony and Critter Club. You mentioned it earlier.
So yes, we're still going. This year I created Fetish Jade has been my friend for 22 years or so. She's one of the first people I met in the BDSM community in Los Angeles. And she has a property in Tarzana. And this back pasture is where Rebecca took me to do some training. We actually did a DVD there, The Training of Beauty.
Oh.
It's the same pasture that I went to with the volunteer pony Loki that I had, where I figured out how to rein with the long lining equine book that I had. And so she's always said, you know, Anne, you can build a pony track here. It's nothing but weeds. For 22 years, it was weeds back there. And we had 5 days of rain right after Christmas. And I was walking my dog, Ollie, and I was like, Ollie, this is not terrible. This is a gift. This is a gift. And so I got another member of the club. We got some tillers. We tilled it. I built it. We have a beautiful pony track.
Oh,
And we have a 20 by 40 dressage arena play area that has artificial turf. It's just great. And then artificial grass has like really gotten far. They have stuff, it's woven so that it doesn't get hot. Oh. And it's really thick and soft. You know, you can fall on it, roll on it. It's incredible. Whoa. Oh, I know. And Jade had this gazebo that needed a lot of love. So no, I put in, I put in the sweat and toil. I don't know what you call it. And I built a pony track. So this is where we're meeting now. And now that we have an outdoor space that's nice and safe, we do share it with Fred. She has a land tortoise. Fred's 22 years old also. Fred is as big as my dog Ollie, who is a chocolate lab. Like land tortoises, given enough area, I guess they grow as big as the area that they're in. So Fred is large and strong. But yeah, we have this great area. So we've already done a long distance cart race. This weekend with the LA Pony and Critter Club, we're doing a fox hunt up in the, we actually go to a national park to go do that out. And that's just really great. It's like an adult hide and go seek tag game. And then May 28th, we'll have our derby. So once around the track, just ponies by themselves, ponies with their trainers, doing steeplechase. We'll have puppies doing a greyhound chase the rabbit, race, just lots of fun. June, I think it's the 25th, something like that. We do Western Day. So all the Western games, where you're doing the pole dance, the barrel race, like going to a rodeo.
Okay.
Yeah? And July 17th, we're going to be doing an English day. So we'll do dressage, just dressage, not freestyle dressage. So it's a routine.
Okay.
And basically it's like learning a ballet routine with your, the pony and the trainer. And you just learn it as perfectly as you can, and you do it once, and then you get graded on it. And then we're also doing a scurry race, which is a cart that's pulled like through a maze.
Okay.
And you get the same cart driver will rein all of the ponies, and yeah. And then we also do a puppy palooza. We do a puppy centric event in September. So they're really, really fun. They're exciting. We do them on a Saturday afternoon, and we just have the best time. It's really wonderful to do the barbecue. I would say the people that we draw to our club tend to be the people I've always hung out with all my life. The really more intellectual, creative, nerdy, geeky people. They were the same. We have a lot of overlap. Like we like to do the cosplay. We like to do the Comic-Cons. We know a lot about DC or Marvel, or, we have these relationships. And it's just so great to be with like-minded people and do fun things.
Well, you were North American Pony Trainer and Pony 2009. Tell us about that.
Oh, that was wonderful. I was up in Yosemite with Rebecca, being a cart pony, and she was like, well, there's this contest I want to do, and you need to learn how to do dressage, and I want to compete in it. And and it would be where we get this title, and then we go to events and we tell other people about pony play so we can have more pony players. One of the things that was happening during that time, so in 2005, when I was trying to learn about pony play, I would write Yahoo groups. You remember Yahoo groups? Yeah. Like that really dates me. I would, write Yahoo groups that had to do with pony play. I would ask to join, and I would not be let in because nobody knew me.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know anyone to know anyone. That's why I ended up driving to Stampede, because it was the only way I could talk to someone about pony play. But I wanted to transform that. I wanted pony play to be something more accessible. I thought it was just great fun. It certainly is a great way to exercise that handle on creating and manifesting and being, which I think is an important skill in life.
Yes.
If you want to get a handle on having a direction in life and obtaining your goals, and that being able to be, do, have is that's crucial. So pony play can be something that gives you that. There's other ways to do it, but pony play can do that too. Yeah. And so this was basically my thing that I wanted to bring. And so we did. We went to, I think it was in West Virginia, to this little bar in West Virginia, and we competed. It was very funny though, because the other people doing pony play, they did skits. Where it was more like the pony had human aspects.
Okay.
And then there was Rebecca and I was I had no human aspects about me at all. I was just a pony. We actually like did our routine, and we were like, yeah, we did great, we killed it. And one of the judges came back and they were like, well, the judges would like you to come back and maybe do this again. And yeah, so we had the feeling that maybe they wanted us to do pony play the way the other people were doing pony play. Remember, I told you there's no wrong way to do pony play, stick to your guns. And so we went out there to new music, no routine, and just did the same thing, except all I was doing was listening to whatever Rebecca told me to do, like right then.
Okay.
We still had enough points to get our title, and we still presented pony play the way we wanted to do pony play. So I have all the room in the world for people to do pony play however they want. I know what it's like to be there going, God, I seem to be doing it a little different here. But it's whatever fills your heart.
Yes.
With gladness. You know, that's like, I don't think anyone should tell anyone how to do BDSM other than to do it in a way that doesn't harm someone and consensually, right? So,
but what advice can you offer someone who's new to pony play?
Oh gosh, like if you want to be a pony and you have no idea how to be a pony?
Or however you want to look at that, yeah. Well,
there's a couple books. So Rebecca wrote a book on the human pony. I have a book called Pony Play with Submissive. So you can certainly get a Kindle copy at least and read them. And there are groups, there are people who do pony play everywhere. You can probably find someone close to you to do pony play with you. There are events that you can go to. A long-standing event back east, northeast is Camp Crucible. There's another group down in the southeast in Louisiana called Ponies on the Delta. I don't know if Thunder in Denver is still happening or not, but they used to have, you know, like 25, 26, by the way, 25, 26 ponies in one place is a large number of ponies.
Okay.
Because we're a small community. So they used to do that. Certainly there's the Los Angeles. Like I said, we have 5 events at our pony track. We have play dates every month. You basically just have to find someone to hook up with. You may end up driving. Like we have a member that comes to our events that's from Salt Lake City.
Oh, wow.
Like people travel.
Yes.
you just go do this in a way that's private and works, and they can explore their pony play and do it. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do it, would you hop in your car and go drive? And because that group is doing things,
Yes.
that's what you do. We have a small community. It isn't like just going to a neighborhood bar in order to find someone who also does Manhattans. You have to you have to put a little more effort, I guess, into finding your players. But there are ways to do it. And I really encourage people to get out of their bedroom. Although being in the bedroom is fine. There's a lot of ponies who just, woohoo! Give their person a ride on their back. That is just something that they do in the bedroom too. So yeah, just have fun.
What's the biggest misconception about you?
The biggest misconception about me? Oh, I have no idea.
That's fair. Okay.
I'm very just me. So, what you see is what you get here. Let the good times roll.
Well, Miss Ann, I cannot thank you enough for such a wonderful interview for Inside Leather History, a Fireside Chat.
Oh, well, thank you. Just